You know, of all the weeks that we had to sit and talk about these power rankings, and we talked about how difficult it was to decide who's good, who's the best, and all that, I was kind of hoping that the later we got, the top four here wouldn't be so easy.
Welcome back to the James and James Show. I'm Josiah,
And I'm Will.
and today we're going over the power rankings right after the divisional round. That's a
Mm-hmm.
little crazy to talk about that right now, but yeah, here we go. We live in a timeline where we have these four teams in the conference championships.
We
I
live
guess.
in a society. Yeah, it was quite the interesting divisional round, leading us to having these four teams in what is going to be our final power rankings of the season. As you know, there's not really a point doing a power rankings before the Super Bowl, so this is the last one, and I, there's like a little bit of room for debate, but honestly, well, so we'll just feel this one out. But it's been a fun year of power rankings, and this last one is going to be a little bit shorter, hopefully a little bit sweeter, as we're going to get into it here with number four. Starting with number four, I have. Why do the NFL gods hate us? The Denver Broncos, who. I mean, they went out and beat the Bills, who were for a while, but like for a very long time, were my clear AFC favorites for the Super Bowl, and they played a really good game, and it was a lot of fun. And you know, if you look at just on paper, you might be thinking, well, why are the Broncos down at four then? And it is only really because of the injury suffered to Bo Nix. Obviously, it takes like you're losing your quarterback, which like he isn't the doing everything kind of guy. He's not quite on the level Drake May is. He played pretty well. He had some mishaps in the game against Buffalo, but for the most part, played a really good game and suffered that injury though. That's gonna have him out for the rest of the year. And it's not that he was like the game changer necessarily. He wasn't the pure thing winning them games, but he this is not a team that is so good, especially offensively, that is so good that without their starting quarterback, the rest of the team can carry a backup quarterback. And so I view a quarterback loss like this as very detrimental, especially when you're this late in the season. I mean, like you're going into conference championship week where you're going up against it's like the best guys left. So, like obviously the defense is still pretty good. It got moved on quite a bit by the Bills, but I feel like you made it this far, which is like in a big step from where they were last year. You got the revenge win over the Bills, but losing Bo Nix really just puts you in a hole that's gonna make this really at the very least they'll be underdogs. But
Oh yeah,
it's just a team with already offensive concerns without their starting quarterback is gonna be tough to see them bounce back and somehow manage a win to make it to the Super Bowl, but we'll see what we can get out of this Broncos team.
for my number four, I'm going to have to agree with you. Denver Broncos. I apologize for, you know, you guys, missing out on a golden opportunity. I mean, the injury with Bo Nix is it's very tragic. That's just it sucks, and I don't wish that upon anybody. And I hope he gets better as soon as possible because, you know, he's still a vital part of that team. And yeah, you can argue that maybe Stidham can have like a good game or whatever it is against the Patriots. It doesn't matter who really wins that game. It's just kind of a loss overall, um, mostly because losing your starting quarterback right before 2 games before the Super Bowl or a game before the Super Bowl is pretty detrimental. So still a really good unit overall, but losing your quarterback, it's a heavy blow.
Moving on to number 3. This is actually where I'm going to put the New England Patriots. I feel like Josiah might be with me on this one, but I feel like a lot of people won't be. Patriots, they've not played. They've just not had great. I mean, I know you're going to hit on this a bunch because you've been hitting on it all season, but the competition that's gotten them where they have been hasn't been great. I'm not going to fault them for bad competition, but what I will say is their offense has not been up to par really much at all. It's going against a good team, a good competent team, especially on offense, where again their defense has been playing really well, and that's done them wonders. But it's against these weak offenses, weak offensive lines, and the Chargers and Texans in the playoffs, where Drake May he just hasn't looked like the same Drake May of the regular season. He's had some faults. Some the receivers have helped bring him up a little bit, but there's been some issue. Like he's had some struggles, and obviously in his first playoff run, this isn't a surprise. But it's not the same Patriots team we've seen, and it's hard to get. It's you can't really gauge that the same because they've been winning and they've been winning pretty convincingly. But it's because of this defense going against these offensive teams that are just kicking themselves. I mean, again, you look at the way they played the Chargers. Justin Herbert had no chance. He barely had a chance to get the ball out ever. It was a real struggle there, and again, Chargers kind of beat themselves. Texans absolutely beat themselves with C.J. Stroud, with 4 interceptions in the first half. Like it was rough for the Texans, and honestly, it's the defense for the Patriots that's gotten them where they're at. I don't want to take any credit away from Vrabel and what the team has done, but I think if you're going up against a healthy Broncos team, and by a healthy Broncos team, I literally just mean they had Bo Nix. I think I have the Broncos above them still, but that's how much losing your starting quarterback can change. But the Patriots, again, props to you. You got where you're at, but they've not been super convincing to me, and so for that, I have them down at 3.
Yeah, so I'm going to say ditto because I also have the New England Patriots down here at number 3. I'm going to keep saying this. Bad competition all season. Haven't played anybody good. Easiest path to the Super Bowl. And people are going to, or specifically Boston fans, are going to come after me saying, but Drake May's him. He's had an MVP season against really bad opponents. When you play the Dolphins and Jets twice a year, you beat the Bills once, and the Bills were kind of wishy-washy this year too. And your entire season has been a lot of bad teams. That does not convince me that you're MVP level. I'm sorry. This is not a diss at Drake May. This is not a diss at Mike Vrabel. This is not a diss at the whole unit in general at New England. I just think that they have not been given a prime opportunity to showcase who they really are. And if they are really good, okay, then sure, yeah. I would believe that if they, went up against the other side of the AFC bracket, because those teams actually had a better shot at causing some damage. Just saying. But here we are. New England is in the AFC Championship again. We can never get rid of them. Um, yeah, I don't know. It, like they're still a good unit, but I don't think either of these AFC teams are going to win the Super Bowl this year. If one of them does, it's going to be a miracle because both of them do not inspire much confidence right now. Uh, Obviously, Bo Nix gone and the easy competition the Patriots have had all season long.
For number two, this probably comes as a surprise to nobody, but I'm gonna have the LA Rams here at number two. It's I mean there was just no competition for number one. So number two, this is honestly me putting them over the Patriots, which is where I think there's a lot of debate. But the Rams, I mean, they're not playing super clean football. They play well in the first quarter. They play well in the fourth quarter. Uh, Gave us a hell of a game against the Bears. That went to overtime and was just a lot of fun to watch. Their defense has been a little inconsistent. There's points where they look paper thin, and they're just easy to blow through. But then other times they come out strong, forcing some turnovers against Chicago. They did a really good job keeping Caleb under wraps for the most part. I mean, they were one mental error away from finishing that game out in regulation. But it's the offense that is scary, but they haven't been that way much in the playoffs. They've been a first and fourth quarter team, and it'll be interesting to see when we get a divisional matchup between them and the Seahawks, who really will be the better team and who's kind of proving it. But Rams,
Yeah.
they're definitely showing that they're a good unit. I mean, the Panthers, maybe there was a little bit of concern there with losing or barely edging out the Panthers and maybe showing some flaws, some illegitimacy to the team. But you go and you beat the Bears the way you beat the Bears, who were looking like a much more legit team. Obviously, they had some struggles of their own, so maybe not as fanciful of a defeat. But it makes that Panthers game look a little bit better for the Panthers and not as bad for the Rams, who Panthers again didn't play that poorly. Rams have struggled with this middle section of the game, but we know that for starting the game, ending the game, they've been really good, really effective, and the defense has been pretty stout during the middle of the game. And they're going to be in a tough matchup against Seattle, but they're still they're still one of the best teams. I am pretty comfortable with them at number two as the second best team in the NFL.
Pretty valid because that's where the Rams are for me. The Rams, I have a few concerns, especially for that defense. Those secondary units, I don't know what they were doing at some points. They were kind of lost here and there. Still put up a pretty good fight here and there, but overall, that defense can be scary when it's usually on the line. I don't know. That secondary doesn't spark a whole lot of hope right now. That's like their glaring weakness. And the other glaring weakness is consistency on offense. Stafford couldn't do anything after the first two drives of the game for the Rams.
Yeah.
Um, there were a lot of concerns there, and I think it's pretty valid. Um, Good team. There's a lot of question marks here and there. Um, yeah, I'm a little concerned about the Rams going into the NFC Championship because if they're going to do the same thing like they did against the Bears, it's not looking good.
And finally, for number one, and the final power rankings of the season, they've been here for a while. I have the Seattle Seahawks as just. I mean, they went into last week already at number one because we were like, yeah, we feel pretty good. And then you just completely blow the 49ers out of the water, where this game felt like it was done before it even got started, and that opening kickoff really seemed like it was gonna set the tempo for this one. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be a fun NFC Championship. But man, oh man, like Seahawks, they just put on a clinic and a beatdown of the 49ers, where they showed that they were really the best team, or at least the better team in between them and the 49ers. But they're making it a real case for one of the scariest teams in the NFL. And obviously, like, again, this point in the year, everyone's pretty scary. Everyone's among the scariest, but they it was quite the showing that, I mean, yeah, 49ers didn't have Kittle, but I don't think Kittle's going to save them from this smackdown that they saw. So it was just, the defense is amazing. The offense, when they are clicking, especially Kenneth Walker, who's been having a really good postseason, or just had a really good game, but the way he's been playing lately, this team is really scary. Offense clicks real good when they're clicking, they're clicking really well, and the defense is just a lot better than people often mention. So I have the Seahawks up at 1 as the most deserved spot.
I think that is completely fair because I think a lot of people have them at number one. They are a terrifying unit to go up against, especially at this point of the season. Um, like you've mentioned, they've been number one for both of us, I think, for a while now. Um, yeah, this team is obviously the most complete, but they're the most efficient team. A lot of people were doubting them, especially going into the playoffs, because we weren't sure if it was like what kind of Sam Darnold we were going to see. We weren't sure if that defense could be consistent in the playoffs. Um, yeah, there were a lot of concerns, I'd say, over just how consistent the Seahawks would be during the playoffs. Other than that, they're a force to be reckoned with. I
Oh, for
think they are the
sure.
Super Bowl favorite now. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. Um, honestly, I have them winning the Super Bowl right now. Um, yeah, now that we've kind of narrowed it down to who's actually going to the Super Bowl, um, they're the team to beat. I think they're the team to beat.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, Seahawks fans, what a year, huh? It's been a great year so far. So, take what you can and win that chip. That's all I'm going to say. Because, I don't know, whenever the new pope gets uh, sworn into their position, uh, I don't know, the pope likes to do a lot of stuff, such as blessing the Seahawks and the Bears,
Yeah,
I
hey,
guess. I don't know.
that will wrap up our last power ranking of the season, where
Oh.
the Seahawks will sit high and mighty. We'll see if they prove it by winning out this week and holding that spot, or if they make us look like fools and our last power ranking is some sort of jinx. But at the end of the season, Seahawks remain on top, and at least season of power rankings, they stay on top.
Yes.
And I've really enjoyed doing power rankings this year, especially giving it this own space, and it's been a lot of fun to do. And it's giving its own video, giving it a little bit more time and attention, and obviously appreciative of everyone who has given it the attention and the time of day themselves to make this sort of stuff happen, make it and just an opportunity for us to do. So I pretty confident that we'll bring it back in this medium next year and keep doing this because I mean I definitely love doing it. And so thank you all so much for allowing this to be a segment on this channel. Um, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a very fun year. I can't wait to see the end of it.
I would like to say I thoroughly enjoyed power rankings, mostly because, like what you said, gives us time to kind of debrief and actually think through things instead of doing it on a whim. I will admit, at the first half of the season, a lot of those were on the whim, and then towards the end, once I got a system going, I kind of knew what I was doing. Yeah, but yeah, thank you all for joining us on this different kind of segment video series, I guess. Um, like Will said, hope to do it more in the future. So, yeah, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you very soon. See ya.
Bye.